Think a large bank balance, a Canadian invitation letter, or previous travel automatically guarantees a Canadian visitor visa? Think again. Visitor visa decisions are based on the complete application, including the purpose of the trip, financial support, personal circumstances, ties outside Canada, and whether the applicant is expected to leave at the end of the authorized stay. A large bank balance does not guarantee approval for a Canadian visitor visa. Financial support is important, but officers look at the complete application. They may consider the purpose of your visit, your ties outside Canada, whether your travel plans are credible, and whether you are likely to leave at the end of your authorized stay. Your bank statements should also make sense when compared with your employment, income, and personal circumstances. Money can help support your application, but it cannot replace a clear purpose, consistent documents, and strong evidence of a genuine temporary visit. An invitation letter from someone in Canada can support a visitor visa application, but it does not guarantee approval. The letter may explain who is inviting you, the purpose of your trip, how long you plan to stay, where you will stay, and who will cover the expenses. However, officers still assess the complete application. They may consider your financial support, travel plans, personal circumstances, ties outside Canada, and whether you are likely to leave at the end of your authorized stay. A strong invitation letter can help explain your visit, but it cannot replace clear, credible, and consistent evidence from the applicant. Previous travel history does not guarantee approval for a Canadian visitor visa. Having visas, entry stamps, or a record of international travel may help show that you previously followed travel rules, but officers still assess the complete application. They may consider the purpose of your visit, your financial support, your ties outside Canada, whether your travel plans are credible, and whether you are likely to leave at the end of your authorized stay. Every application is assessed on its own facts. Travel history can strengthen the overall picture, but it cannot replace clear, consistent documents and strong evidence of a genuine temporary visit. Booking a flight, hotel, or complete travel itinerary does not guarantee approval for a Canadian visitor visa. Provisional reservations can help explain where you plan to go, how long you intend to stay, and the purpose of your trip, but officers still assess the complete application. They may consider your financial support, ties outside Canada, personal circumstances, and whether you are likely to leave at the end of your authorized stay. A paid ticket cannot replace credible documents or a clear temporary purpose. In fact, applicants are generally advised not to finalize travel plans until a visa has been issued. A previous visitor visa refusal does not mean you can never be approved. In most cases, you may apply again, but simply submitting the same information is unlikely to produce a different result. Start by reviewing the refusal letter and the officer's decision notes when provided. Identify the concerns raised, such as an unclear purpose of travel, insufficient financial evidence, weak ties outside Canada, or doubts that you will leave after your authorized stay. Before reapplying, address those concerns with new, stronger, and consistent evidence. A new application should clearly explain what has changed and how the previous refusal reasons have been resolved. A valid Canadian visitor visa allows you to travel to a Canadian port of entry, but it does not guarantee that you will be admitted. When you arrive, a border services officer makes the final decision. The officer may review your identity and documents, the purpose of your visit, your travel plans, and whether you continue to meet Canada's entry requirements. You may also need to show that your visit is temporary and that you will leave Canada at the end of your authorized stay. Your visa is an important travel document, but the final decision about entry and the length of your stay is made at the border. Having family in Canada does not guarantee approval for a Canadian visitor visa. While a family member may provide an invitation letter, accommodation, or financial support, officers assess much more than your relationship with someone in Canada. They may consider the purpose of your visit, your financial situation, your ties outside Canada, your travel history, and whether you are likely to leave Canada at the end of your authorized stay. Family support can strengthen your application, but it cannot replace clear, credible, and consistent evidence. Every visitor visa application is assessed on its own facts, and the final decision is based on the complete application, not simply on who you know in Canada. Many people believe that getting a Canadian visitor visa is easy. In reality, every application is carefully assessed and there is no automatic approval. Applicants must show a genuine purpose for their visit, sufficient financial support, strong ties outside Canada, and evidence that they will leave Canada before their authorized stay ends. Officers also review the overall credibility and consistency of the application. A well-prepared application can improve your chances, but approval is never guaranteed. The decision is based on the complete application and whether you meet the legal requirements to enter Canada as a genuine temporary visitor. Many people believe that every visitor automatically receives 6 months when they enter Canada. That is one of the most common misconceptions about Canadian visitor visas. The reality is that the length of your authorized stay is determined by the Border Services Officer when you arrive in Canada. While many visitors may be allowed to stay for up to 6 months, others may receive a shorter or longer period depending on their individual circumstances and any conditions placed on their entry. Always check your passport stamp, visitor record, or any document issued at the port of entry. It will tell you how long you are authorized to remain in Canada. Never assume you automatically have 6 months. Many people believe that a Canadian visitor visa allows them to work in Canada. That is not correct. A visitor visa allows you to travel to Canada for temporary purposes such as tourism, visiting family or friends, attending business meetings, or other activities that are permitted under Canada's immigration laws. It does not give you the legal right to work or earn employment income in Canada. If you want to work in Canada, you generally need a valid work permit or another form of work authorization before starting any employment. Working without authorization can lead to the refusal of future applications, removal from Canada, and other serious immigration consequences. Before accepting any job or performing any work in Canada, always make sure you have the proper authorization. Many people believe they can extend their stay in Canada as many times as they want. That is a common misconception. An extension of visitor status is never automatic. Every request is assessed individually, and you must continue to meet the legal requirements to remain in Canada as a temporary resident. Officers may consider the reason for your extension, your financial situation, your immigration history, and whether you have complied with the conditions of your stay. If you need more time in Canada, you should apply before your current status expires and provide clear supporting documents. Even then, approval is not guaranteed. Each application is decided on its own merits. Some people believe that children can travel to Canada under their parents' visitor visa without having their own travel authorization. That is not always correct. Every child must meet Canada's entry requirements. Depending on their nationality, a child may need their own visitor visa or an electronic travel authorization, just like an adult. They must also have a valid passport or travel document before traveling to Canada. When traveling with children, it is also important to carry documents that show the relationship between the child and the accompanying parent or guardian. If only one parent is traveling with the child, additional consent documents may be required in some situations. The rules that apply to adults often apply to children as well. Before traveling, make sure every member of your family has the correct travel documents and authorizations. Many people believe they do not need travel medical insurance when visiting Canada. While travel insurance is not mandatory for most regular visitor visa holders, traveling without it can be a costly mistake. Medical care in Canada can be very expensive, and even a short hospital visit or emergency treatment can result in significant costs. Travel insurance can help cover emergency medical care, hospitalization, prescription medication, ambulance services, and other unexpected expenses during your trip. It is also important to remember that medical insurance is mandatory for super visa applicants and must meet specific Canadian requirements. Being prepared before you travel can protect both your health and your finances. Even when it is not legally required, travel insurance is one of the smartest investments you can make before visiting Canada. Many people believe that the purpose of their visit does not really matter as long as they have a valid Canadian visitor visa. That is a common misconception. One of the most important factors officers consider is whether your reason for traveling is genuine, clearly explained, and supported by your documents. Your travel plans, accommodation, financial support, itinerary, and ties outside Canada should all be consistent with the purpose you have stated in your application. If your explanation is vague, inconsistent, or not supported by evidence, it may raise concerns about your intentions, even if the rest of your application appears complete. A clear, honest, and well-documented purpose of visit helps officers understand why you are coming to Canada and increases the credibility of your application. Many people believe that hiring an immigration representative guarantees their Canadian visitor visa will be approved. That is a common misconception. An authorized immigration representative can help you understand the process, prepare your application, and ensure your documents are complete and properly organized. However, they cannot guarantee approval or influence the outcome of your application. Every visitor visa application is assessed independently by an IRCC officer based on Canada's immigration laws. Officers consider your purpose of visit, financial situation, travel history, ties outside Canada, and whether your application is honest, complete, and supported by credible evidence. A knowledgeable representative can improve the quality of your application, but the final decision always rests with the visa officer. No consultant, lawyer, or representative can guarantee that your application will be approved. Many people believe that if they submit every required document, the visa officer must approve their visitor visa application. That is a common misconception. Submitting a complete application is important, but it does not guarantee approval. Visa officers assess not only whether the required documents have been provided, but also whether the information is credible, consistent, and supported by the evidence. They consider your purpose of visit, financial situation, travel history, ties outside Canada, and whether you are likely to leave Canada at the end of your authorized stay. The overall quality and credibility of your application matter just as much as the documents themselves. A complete application is essential, but approval depends on whether you satisfy the legal requirements for a temporary resident visa. Every application is assessed on its own merits, and the final decision rests with the visa officer. Many people believe that a small mistake on a Canadian visitor visa application does not matter. In reality, even minor errors can create unnecessary concerns during the assessment process. Incorrect dates, inconsistent information, missing details, or simple typographical errors can affect the credibility of your application. Visa officers expect the information you provide to be accurate, complete, and consistent with your supporting documents. Before submitting your application, carefully review every form, every answer, and every document. Make sure names, passport details, travel dates, employment history, and financial information all match. A well-prepared application is not just about providing documents. It is also about demonstrating accuracy, honesty, and attention to detail. Taking the time to review your application carefully can help avoid delays, requests for additional information, and even unnecessary refusals. Many people believe they can use a Canadian visitor visa to live in Canada permanently by continually extending their stay. That is a common misconception. A visitor visa is issued for temporary travel only. It does not give you the right to live in Canada permanently or use visitor status as a substitute for permanent residence. Visitors are expected to respect the conditions of their stay and leave Canada before their authorized period expires, unless they have obtained another valid status. If your long-term goal is to live in Canada permanently, there are legal pathways that may be available, such as permanent residence programs, family sponsorship, or other immigration streams, depending on your circumstances. The best approach is to follow Canada's immigration laws and pursue the pathway that matches your situation. A visitor visa is designed for temporary visits, not permanent settlement. Many people believe they can use a Canadian visitor visa to live in Canada permanently by continually extending their stay. That is a common misconception. A visitor visa is issued for temporary travel only. It does not give you the right to live in Canada permanently or use visitor status as a substitute for permanent residence. Visitors are expected to respect the conditions of their stay and leave Canada before their authorized period expires, unless they have obtained another valid status. If your long-term goal is to live in Canada permanently, there are legal pathways that may be available, such as permanent residence programs, family sponsorship, or other immigration streams, depending on your circumstances. The best approach is to follow Canada's immigration laws and pursue the pathway that matches your situation. A visitor visa is designed for temporary visits, not permanent settlement. Thank you for watching this guide on debunking Canadian visitor visa myths. We hope this video has helped separate common misconceptions from the facts, so you can make informed decisions before traveling to Canada. Remember, every visitor visa application is unique, and every decision is based on the law, the evidence you provide, and your individual circumstances. Understanding the rules and preparing a complete, honest application can make a significant difference. For more in-depth articles, practical guides, and educational resources on Canadian law, visit 101legalways.com. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with others who may benefit from this information. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Stay informed, stay prepared, stay ahead.